Imagine waking up tomorrow morning with a strange certainty, almost physical, like a taste in your mouth. What you call I does not truly coincide with what you are. It is not a living room philosophical thought. It is a suspicion that changes the way you look at your hands as they move, at words as they come out, at fears as they tighten your stomach. That inner center that reacts, decides, takes offense, falls in love, and tells itself a continuous story could be a navigation device, not the captain. An operational face, an adaptive profile, a necessary mask. And if that were so, the simplest question would become the most destabilizing one. Who is really living behind the mask? A major current of contemporary thought, born from the encounter between neuroscience, physics, and reflection on consciousness, proposes a radical model. Consciousness would not be a byproduct of the brain, but something more fundamental that uses the brain as an interface. Not a ghost inhabiting matter, but a dimension that expresses itself through matter. In this view, everyday identity, the one we defend and clothe in memories and social roles, resembles an avatar. An avatar is not false, not a trick. It is a tool. It serves to move within an environment with precise rules, concrete limits, real consequences. If you enter a virtual world, to act you must take a form. You do not bring all of yourself inside. You bring what is useful, the capacity to choose, attention, goals, reactions. The avatar appears alive and intentional, but its life is localized. It depends on the connection with the one who uses it. Transported into our world, the analogy becomes unsettling and fascinating. The body, the nervous system, memory, even personality could be the suit with which a broader consciousness becomes operative in space and time. The brain, then, would not be the source of awareness but a translator. It receives signals from the senses, organizes them, fuses them into a coherent film. It creates an inner narrator who says, I am the one who sees, I am the one who thinks, I am the one who chooses. And that narrator is so convincing that almost no one suspects its functional nature. Because the purpose of an interface is precisely this, to make the experience credible, urgent, personal. An avatar that constantly remembered it was an avatar would move through life like a distracted tourist. It would not take pain, love, risk seriously. And without intensity there is no learning. Here a delicate point enters, often misunderstood. To say, illusion, does not mean to say, fantasy. It means to say, reduced perspective. Like looking at a landscape through a window. The view is real, but it is not everything. The local self would be that window. It sees a portion, and in order to live it must behave as if that portion were the whole. Thus the feeling of separateness is born. Me here, the rest there. Me inside, others outside. And yet, precisely while biology builds boundaries, some phenomena of physics suggest that reality, at a deep level, is not made of isolated objects but of relationships. Quantum correlations between distant systems, for example, show links that do not resemble a message traveling through space like a ball thrown from one point to another. Something seems already connected in the very structure of the description. This is not proof that consciousness is quantum, and honesty is required. Physics does not easily deliver metaphysical conclusions. But it opens a crack. It allows us to glimpse that separation might not be the final word. If there exists a non-local level of information, then the idea of the avatar takes on a different flavor. Experience would not occur in the brain like a fire born in wood, but through the brain like music passing through an instrument. The instrument is indispensable, and it limits what can be played. But it does not by itself explain the meaning of the melody. And then even emotions, which seem sovereign and definitive, could be seen as educational signals of the interface. Fear, anger, shame, pride would not be absolute truths about the world, but indicators of friction and harmony between what you are doing and what, at a deeper level, helps you grow. This does not mean minimizing suffering. It means giving it a different role, not a condemnation, but a language. Within this framework, even death takes on a new profile. If the avatar is a local form, it can shut down as a device shuts down. But what lived through it might not coincide with the device. We are not speaking of a copy of memories stored somewhere, nor of a vague, impersonal energy. We are speaking of continuity of consciousness as continuity of that which learns value from experience. It is a hypothesis, of course, but it has an immediate and practical consequence. It shifts the center of life from possession to quality, from outcome to direction. And then the question becomes concrete, almost daily. If this interface is designed to make you believe you are all that you are, how can you recognize, at least at times, the broader hand that moves it without losing the intensity of experience? Because sometimes you feel it, like a flash. In a creative act. In a kindness that arises before thoughts. In an inner silence that is not emptiness but fullness. These are moments in which the avatar seems to become transparent and, precisely while remaining yourself, you glimpse that there is a larger you that does not need to defend itself. And from here, without looking away, we can enter the most decisive point, where choice truly occurs, and how intention crosses the interface to become action in the physical world. If you look carefully at that moment in which you decide, you discover that the narrative mind often arrives afterward. First there is an orientation, an inner direction that presents itself as a feeling of clarity or closure, as opening or contraction. Neuroscience shows how complex the preparation of a gesture is, and how the brain constructs a coherent story after the fact. But the question remains, where does the meaning we attribute to a possibility come from? Matter can describe a movement, an impulse, a calculation. It can measure electrical and chemical signals. But value, that, this is right, or, this diminishes me, does not easily reduce to a formula. In an avatar model, value is not a sentimental accessory. It is the heart of intention. And intention is not a mental whim, it is a creative choice that precedes discursive thought. Imagine an ordinary crossroads, not a dramatic one. A phone call you could make or avoid. A truth you could speak or conceal. A caring gesture no one will see. The avatar, with its automatisms, can list pros and cons, can simulate scenarios, can even convince itself that the most convenient choice is the rational one. But then there is that deeper point of gravity, almost mute, that does not argue and does not negotiate. You feel that one direction expands you, the other constricts you. Expansion is not always pleasant. Sometimes it is the harder road. And yet it carries a quality you recognize without words. This is where the brain resembles a translator. It takes that quality and transforms it into images, inner words, guiding emotions. When the translator is too noisy, when the avatar is saturated with fear, need for control, hunger for approval, the translation becomes distorted. Not because the source disappears, but because the interface becomes opaque. And then life feels heavy. Not because the world has suddenly become hostile, but because the avatar is trying to act as the entire universe. There is another element that makes this model so magnetic, the relationship with time. The avatar lives on a line. Before, after. Cause, effect. It is a very useful structure because it allows memory and planning. But the experience of consciousness, the one that sometimes appears in moments of intense presence, seems to have a different flavor. It is no longer just a sequence of instants slipping away. It is a present that widens. There is no need to turn this sensation into dogma. It is enough to recognize that linear mind does not exhaust mental life. And if deep consciousness were not bound to time in the same way, then some coincidences dense with meaning, those encounters or turns that seem to arrive at the right moment, could be read not as magic but as coherence. When intention is clean and does not arise from fear, the avatar moves with less friction. It sees better. It chooses better. And reality responds not because it obeys a desire, but because perception becomes more precise and actions more aligned. Sometimes what you call destiny is simply a less confused mind that notices possibilities it previously ignored. The boldest point of the model, the one that brushes against physics, concerns the transformation of possibilities into a fact. Quantum description speaks of possible states and of results that appear as concrete events. What selects one result among many? There are different interpretations, and there is no total consensus. But some thinkers propose a reading in which consciousness, or at least the act of experience, is not an irrelevant detail. It would be part of the process that makes the world determinate. This does not mean that the mind creates everything, like in a fairy tale. It means that reality might be less like a closed mechanism and more like a participatory relationship. In this light, intention is not just a kind thought. It is a real orientation of the system. A gesture of selection, a creative act. The avatar, to maintain narrative coherence, tells itself it decided through logic and habit. But the deeper source may have already chosen a direction of value, and the brain may have registered its trace, transforming it into reasoning. If this were even partially true, personal responsibility would change its face. It would not be a burden of guilt to carry, but a power to be educated. Because it would mean you are not an automaton reacting to stimuli. It would mean you can train the interface to become more transparent. Not with the obsession of being perfect, but with the art of returning to presence. Every time you renounce an automatic reaction and remain for a few seconds in listening, you make room for a broader quality of yourself. Every time you choose a small but true gesture, you train the avatar to recognize the direction that expands. And you do not need an extraordinary life. You need a life lived with intention. This vision also casts a particular light on machines. An artificial system can imitate language, strategies, described emotions. It can be powerful and surprising. But imitation is not living. The biological avatar, though limited, is traversed by experience. And experience is not just information. It is felt meaning. It is value. If the level at which value is recognized as such is missing, what remains is the simulation of a choice, not the choice. That is why the decisive difference, in this framework, is not the complexity of calculation, but the presence of a feeling that cannot be measured only from the outside. In the end, what remains is not a theory to repeat, but a new way of being in the world. It is not about despising the avatar, nor about fleeing the body. It is about using it as one uses a precious instrument, knowing that the instrument does not exhaust the musician. Physical life remains real, with its pain that burns and its joy that illuminates. But the point from which you look changes. Frustrations become phases, not sentences. Mistakes become information, not identities. Relationships become encounters between different windows of the same possibility of consciousness, each with its own angle on the world. And when you return to asking who is really living, the answer does not come as a definition. It comes as a quality of presence. A full silence in which the everyday self remains in its place, useful and operative, while behind it you finally sense the vastness of what inhabits it. If you have made it this far, it means you love curiosity as much as we do. If you enjoyed this journey, leave a like, write a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It is the best way to support what we do. Your presence truly makes a difference. Until the next exploration.